Hey guys, today we move on to the next video on formulas and functions. When we are talking about formulas and function, there is a very important concept that we need to know about is the cells referencing. Okay, so most formulas you create include references to a cells or ranges. So suppose I created the sum formula in a previous video, it has a reference to this particular cell. When we created this upper conversion of upper text of Priya, it was referencing to A2. Yeah. So these references enable your formulas to work dynamically with the data contained in those cells or ranges. We saw this in this example as such. So if you didn't use references in your formulas, you will need to edit those formulas themselves in order to change the values used in the formulas. So when you use a cell or range, as you can say, reference in a formula, you can use three types of references. First is relative references, second is absolute references, and third is mixed references. We'll get into this each section of references one by one. So today, let's start with the relative references. So when I'm talking about relative references, you know that any formula, uh, if it has to calculate anything, it calculate values directly or indirectly using a particular function, yeah, or a formula that we use. The data written in that data set has its unique address. Okay. So when you give a cell address in a designated cell and drag or copy the formula horizontally or vertically, the reference will automatically be changed. So as I said, we did the addition. If you remember, we created this formula of percentage achievement by saying is equal to actual divided by target. Now this particular formula is referencing B2 and C2. Yeah. But if I automatically drag this formula for the subsequent cells vertically, we can do this horizontally as well. We can see the reference automatically changes. Yeah, now it is C3, B3 for this particular D3 formula. For D4, if I go, it is referencing to C4, D4. Yeah. So my formula automatically gets the relative reference for that particular formula by dragging it. Yeah. So my relative references, this is what we call as relative reference. So every time I drag the formula, it changes the relative reference of that particular formula to this particular cells, which it should refer to. Now, what are the benefits of relative references? Why it is useful? So if you wish to reuse the same formula, either row wise or column wise, so suppose I want this sum, which is for targets, has to be, I want to sum the actuals as well. So I can just copy this or drag this formula to the actuals as well. So you can see my relative reference is now for actuals, wherein previously it was for target. So by just dragging it, now I have the total for actuals. So the benefit of it is I can reuse the same formula either row wise, which we did earlier, or I can do it column wise. Yeah. It also increases the flexibility as relative references changes quickly across the data set while doing calculations. Yeah. So if I had the same calculation in some other different sheet and I would have copied the same formula, it would have done the calculation. Yeah. It improves productivity by seamlessly filling the formula either downwards or sidewards. So yeah, I do not need to type this formula again and it is automatically being referencing to the relevant columns that I need. Yeah, it allows you to auto adjust the defined formula while inserting or removing the values. Okay. So how do we use relative reference? Yeah. We have seen this right now. So for using the relative reference, what you need to do is nothing but just type the formula in one of the cell, which we have done right now. Yeah. And just copy this formula across to where you want it further to be applied. Yeah. So it automatically gets applied to the relevant columns. Same way we did it for target and achieve actuals as well. Yeah, now I can have the achievement for this target versus achievement. I can have this formula tracked again for the total, and we can have this percentage achievement for the total as well. Okay, pretty simple. So whenever you drag the fill handle or copy paste the formula, it will automatically copy the relevant formula with the relative references to the cells that it has to adhere to. So if the relative reference of the cell does not change after using the fill handle, you need to change the manual settings to automatic. Yeah, we did it earlier. So suppose I delete this. Yeah, we have seen this earlier. If it is manual, and if I drag this formula, that is, I'm copying this formula, and we see that it is not changing, then we need to make this formula to automatic. So it will automatically calculate the formula. So if the relative reference of a set does not change, yeah, you need to see to it that whether your calculation options is set to automatic or not. Now, when should we avoid? So I hope you understand what do you mean by relative reference. So it will automatically track the formulas. You will get it reference to the relevant cells and do the necessary output for you. Yeah. Same way I did for this operators formula that we have written using the plus addition operator. You can see it is referring to B2, B3, B4, and B5. If I copy paste this formula for actuals, you will find it is referencing to now C2, C3, C4, and C5. Yeah. So this is the definition of relative referencing, where a formula by just dragging or copying pasting cop calculates or performs the output depending of the relevant columns or rows that you have set the formula for. So be careful. So whenever you're using relative reference, you need to avoid using relative reference when you intend to provide a fixed reference during calculation. So you should not use a relative reference when you require both absolute and relative references while computing formulas. Yeah, you can see this when we refer to absolute or mixed references. But this is what you need to understand what is called as relative references in Excel. Yeah, where the references keep on changing as you copy paste or drag the formula against a particular column or a row. Yeah. Hope you understood this concept of relative referencing in formulas in Excel. Hope you like this video. Do like it, share it across with your colleagues who want to learn Excel. Do comment if you want me to cover any of the topics in this 365 days of Excel journey. And yes, do not forget to subscribe to my channel, because that's how you are going to get all this informative videos directly to your inbox. Thank you so much.